Happy First Chapter Friday. I am so excited to share this book with you today. I probably shouldn't tell you which one is my favorite, but I think I had the best experience with this book. I will never forget this book. I loved it so much. This is one of my favorites of the Mark Twain nominated books this year. This is the last one you are receiving from this year. It's from the 23-24 list. This is actually, it looks like a really big book, but I want you to not be threatened by that because it is actually something called a novel in verse. So it is actually written in the form of poetry. So instead of chapter, they have small poems, but it doesn't even read like a poem. It reads like a story. So this is called a novel in verse. This is a book called Worst Case Collin by Rebecca Capara, and it shook my world. I talked about it all summer long. I have really been invested in learning more about some of the mental health issues that I read in this story. It really affected me deeply. I will give you a tip here. It's kind of a trigger warning for, or you might want to be careful reading this story if you have lost anyone deeply in your life. So for me, I've lost a parent, and this book brought back up a lot of feelings. You learn it really quickly, but Collin has lost his mom. Collin's mom died in the last few years, and this book really goes into depth about how Collin and his dad grieve after they've lost his mom. And so I just want you to be careful if you've lost anybody or you feel like this would affect you, then just be careful with reading it. Maybe read it with somebody else in your life, a parent or an adult, or come down and talk to me about it. I'd be happy to read and reflect with you. Or if you're connecting with it and you want to talk to one of our counselors about it, please feel free to let me or our counselors know. But I'm going to read you the back and the inside cover, and then just one or two of the first verses or the poems that are in the book. Okay, this is Worst Case Collin. I carry a bright orange book in my pocket at all times. It has instructions for outrunning killer bees, crawling out of quicksand, surviving an earthquake. There's even a part about escaping from a car submerged in water. But my orange book is missing a chapter. I read it cover to cover, yet there are no instructions for how to survive what's happening at home. Okay, then here's the inside cover. So again, this is kind of what you would do if you would ever come to the library. Check the back, check the inside cover. Here we go. If there were ever some crazy catastrophe, you're the one I'd want by my side. It's no wonder his best friends, Liam and Georgia, nickname him Worst Case Collin. Ever since his mom died in a fluke accident, 12-year-old Collin wonders what might have happened if someone had been better prepared. So now he keeps a worst-case scenario handbook outlining how to overcome everything from avalanches to riptides to even a bad case of halitosis. That's bad breath. But there's no chapter in his handbook about how to avoid bullies at school, how to hide his dad's troubling hoarding habits from everyone, or how to tell Georgia that he might like her as more than a friend. Even with Liam and Georgia by his side, Collin feels he can't tell anyone what's really going on in his life. When everything builds to a breaking point, Collin must figure out his own best case scenario. One where being honest with those we love is never a wrong turn. So they mentioned something in there that I do want to talk about as well. It might be something that your family or somebody in your life has experienced or not at all. Collin's dad, you're going to learn, is a hoarder. Okay. Hoarding basically means you have lots and lots of stuff. Not a little bit of stuff, not like kind of a lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff. And you have a hard time getting rid of it. So this includes like fingernails and hair trimmings, and it includes trash, and it includes all kinds of stuff, and it piles and piles and piles in a house. That's hoarding. So characters in this story are going to be dealing with a hoarding habit. Okay, so here's verse 1. This is called Before. So see how there's just like, it's not a chapter, but it's a verse. It's written like this, so it looks a little different. but then we're gonna go to the next section. Okay, before, I used to dream about normal stuff like making the swim team, acing my social studies quiz, getting revenge on Liam for pranking me all the time. These days, my main goal is to prevent disaster from striking again, or at the very least, to be better prepared, which is harder than it sounds when you're in middle school and calamities of various sorts occur daily. Next verse, after. Now I carry a bright orange book in my pocket at all times. It has instructions for outrunning killer bees, crawling out of quicksand, surviving an earthquake. There is even a part about escaping from a car submerged in water. My friend Georgia says if any of those things actually happen, you'd never have the time or the wits to check your little orange book. She has a good point, so I'm memorizing every chapter, starting with the one about the sinking car. Swimming. I've become a good swimmer. Backstroke, freestyle, butterfly, which is the most challenging. My friend Liam is a decent swimmer too, but he prefers to invent his own wacky strokes. Watching him from the pool deck after school makes me laugh so hard I snort Gatorade through my nose, especially when he attempts the slippery noodle double kick. My favorite is side stroke because it's low intensity and can be sustained over long distances. Handy if you become lost at sea, for example. Coach Baker says side stroke, along with all of Liam's inventions, aren't official strokes. At least not in competition. And that's fine by me. I'm not in this for speed. Survival is more important than winning medals. So I'm going to read you this last one. The last one is called Side Stroke. Pick a cherry, put it in your basket. 1. Pick a cherry, put it in your basket. 2. That's what I repeat in my head when I practice, making sure to avoid the danger under the diving board. Pick a cherry, put it in your basket. 3. I stretch my arms, kick my legs, counting each cherry, not how many laps I do, which is a lot. I've been swimming every day since the accident, except for the days when lightning threatens to shock the water and everyone in it. Or the days when the water gets shocked with chemicals because some knucklehead pooped in the pool. Pick a cherry, put it in your basket. 4. I swim, 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 pick, pick, pick. The cherries never weigh me down. They're not real, thankfully. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because as you can see, you kind of start breezing through. These pages are short. There's each one building on the story though. It's a really beautifully well done story. Like I said, it affected me deeply. I will remember this book for years to come. I hope you will consider trying out Worst Case Collin, and please come talk to me about it. I would love to chat with you. I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.